Democratic Party and you're a big Karen Bass supporters, you turn towards me. Just tell me, what is it like to be here for history? This has been a long campaign and a lot of hard work for Karen Bass. The day has finally come. She'll be the 43rd mayor.
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, you have to really think about it. I was born and raised right here in Los Angeles. And for women, this is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you know, she's a woman of color. She's got a lot of strength, and I think she's going to be amazing for the city of Los Angeles because she knows the people.
And for the city of LA, such a progressive city, a lot of people are still surprised to learn we've never had a female mayor, the second black person that will serve as mayor. So today is about marking that history.
Today is historic. It's historic for the people. It's historic for the state of California. And you know, I don't know how many people realize or understand that what we do here, the rest of the United States follows with. So hopefully it'll help with the progression to make sure that everybody has equal representation.
What makes you feel so confident and encouraged that Karen Bass will be able to handle the tough challenges that await her, including homelessness, lowering crime, our affordable housing crisis?
Karen knows the city of Los Angeles. She lives here. You know, it's something that she's done. It's in her heart, it's in her soul. She loves the people, and she has the ideas and the people behind her to help push, to get things pushed forward.
Any inauguration has a hopeful feeling. It's pretty, I gotta tell you, it's pretty hopeful in here. People are excited, and it does feel like people really believe that Karen Bass can fix these problems and these tough challenges. Why do you think that is?
Because she's a woman. Honestly, you asked a question. We raise children. We give you your backbone. And I think that we have something different than what most people can see. And we're willing to come to a table, I think, a little bit more and to push the envelope.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much for being here for us.
Definitely. You go get your seat.
Thank you.
So Jory and Michelle, that is the feeling among so many, not just Karen Bass supporters, but just residents of LA who wanted to be here to witness that history. They know that the expectations are high for Karen Bass. She's going to get to work first thing tomorrow morning, declaring that state of emergency on homelessness. But again, today is about honoring, celebrating, marking that history. She will, of course, lay out her plans on homelessness, addressing housing in this speech. We expect her to speak for 15 minutes and get into some specifics about how she plans to tackle these problems. And as I said, really high expectations for Karen Bass and for new leadership, not just in the mayor's office, but in city council, city attorney's office, the city controller. People are really hopeful that LA and this new leadership will really be able to get things done. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Josh, well, thank you. We know you'll have your eyes there on the program as it gets underway. And Josh has been following also her election campaign as well. So he's very tuned in to all she's had to go through to get here. Well, LA Mayor-elect Karen Bass says that she will be hitting the ground running when she's sworn in as the city's 43rd mayor.
Yeah, Bass is temporarily keeping some of the workers from outgoing Mayor Eric Garcetti's administration to try and smooth the transition process. As we said, Josh Haskell was very busy in the weeks and days leading up to this inauguration. We go back to some work that he's done on the transition process and who will be filling out her staff in this Bass administration.
I am not going to be the continuation of the Garcetti administration.
When Mayor-elect Karen Bass sent a letter to members of the Garcetti administration asking them to stay on through April of next year because of the short transition, some saw it as a sign that little will change at City Hall. But Bass told Eyewitness News that's far from the truth. She just doesn't want any city services to slow because of staff vacancies. Meeting with Small Business Administrator Isabella Casillas Guzman, Bass reiterated that her focus will be homelessness, and she believes small businesses can help.
If we are going to address the people on the street, we have to address income inequality, and the best way to do that is to make sure that our small business community is strong, is vibrant, and is able to grow.
On the topic of homelessness, Bass was asked about New York City Mayor Eric Adams' plan to begin hospitalizing more homeless people, forcing them into treatment if they're in a psychiatric crisis.
It is just inhumane to allow people who are profoundly mentally ill to be on the streets. However, having said that, and even with the care court, where are you going to put people? You have to figure that out first. Otherwise, you will continue doing what we have been doing, which is the county jail.
Josh Haskell, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, from Josh Haskell to Josh Haskell, let's head back to the Microsoft Theater with Josh standing by with more on today's festivities. Josh.
And Jory and Michelle, as you were talking about, Karen Bass got her start in South Los Angeles building the Community Coalition. I have two members of the Community Coalition here, Ryan Smith, Afrika Howard. You guys are excited. Tell me what it's like to actually see someone you're so close with, Karen Bass, be sworn in shortly as the next mayor.
Karen is the founder of our organization, and she believes in people, and she'll be a mayor by the people and for the people. And it's about time LA has the first woman mayor of Los Angeles, so we are celebrating today.
What about you, Afrika?
Yes, we love Karen Bass, the first black woman mayor in the city of Los Angeles. And her famous words, if she can do it, I can do it. Yay. So we're here to support her 125%, 150%, all the way, baby.
Go Karen! Go Los Angeles! It's a beautiful day in LA today.
I covered Karen Bass extensively on the campaign trail. She talked so much about building coalitions, bringing all the partners together on homelessness, the federal government, state partners, local partners. Talk about how that work really started with the Community Coalition. And what does that mean, building coalitions? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so Karen Bass began Community Coalition 30 years ago during the crack cocaine epidemic. And she brought black and brown residents throughout South Los Angeles to say, we can change this community together. And she's going to be the type of mayor to build coalitions across our city. If we've ever needed that, now is the time. So I'm excited about her agenda, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yes, Karen Bass is so personal. There's love in the community, and there's love within our coalition. There's healing taking place. There's happiness taking place. There's generations involved in our process. We're not alone. We are together, and we plan to stick together all the way through this.
I want to keep you guys here. I want to bring in our anchors, Jory and Michelle. Do you guys have any questions for our friends here from Community Coalition who know our next mayor very, very well?
Yeah, well, I'm just so impressed with the representation. You know, Los Angeles has had mayors for 170 years, and it's just how special it is to have those who have never been represented in the mayor's office. And we heard it a little bit from Afrika there, just really what it means to look at that office and see being personally represented, what this moment will mean.
Yeah, our anchor Jory Rand wondering about the representation that someone like Karen Bass, first black woman going to serve as mayor, what that means to you to see someone like that leading this city of 4 million people, and how you find that inspiring.
Well, you know, Los Angeles is one of the most diverse cities, not only in the entire nation, the entire world. So to have someone be the first black woman, the first woman lead our city, it shows the entire world that we care about all of our residents. And she believes that we can reach across the aisles, across difference, to make change together. She's the right leader for Los Angeles. And I'm just so honored to have somebody who cares about people in the seat of mayor.
What about you, Afrika? What's it going to be like to have Karen Bass top job in City Hall?
It's a beautiful thing. I know that Karen Bass told us that when COVID-19 hit and Los Angeles got hit hard, she said, I need to go back to Los Angeles. And she came back for us. That means the world to me that she left DC and came back to Los Angeles for us, to be here with us, to make those changes together. That shows how humble that she is. That shows how versatile and how flexible she is. But it shows how deeply she is rooted to our cause to advance ourselves in our own communities.
And how do you think the work of Community Coalition, how will she bring that to the mayor's office? Are you guys going to be involved at all in City Hall, in the government?
Well, obviously we're excited to partner with the new mayor, but I believe she's an organizer. She started off as a grassroots organizer, so she's gonna bring in organizers, she's gonna bring in people, and really develop an agenda that's a reflection of LA, and I think we're all excited to be a part of it, and I'm excited to see what she does, and I think she's made housing and houselessness her #1 issue coming in, and we need that more now than ever.
Yeah.
And while I have you here, any other questions from our anchors back in the studio in Glendale? We are, of course, live here at the Microsoft Theater, waiting for the inauguration of the 43rd Mayor, Karen Bass, to start. Jory and Michelle?
Well, Josh, I know you covered, her campaign, and one of the things that really was notable, right, was the diversity that she had in the campaign. Even when we take a look at the program of what's going to happen today, it's going to kick off right with this interfaith prayer. So even though she is second black mayor, first black woman, I think she also wants to make it known that she's really the mayor for everyone in Los Angeles, regardless of race or color. So with regard to the crowd that's showing up today, what is that representation and diversity being demonstrated there as well today?
That's a really good question. Real quick, I just want to, you guys can go get your seats. Thank you for your time. We'll be talking to you more. That excitement is palpable, and I have to tell you, really diverse crowd here from all different sections of the city. Of course, people in South Los Angeles have worked with and known Karen Bass for so long. She's not just a leader, she's a friend. So you have a lot of different people from, I saw some people that I met on the campaign trail from her church group, from Community Coalition, and then of course Karen Bass served in Sacramento in the state assembly, and so that basically spread her name well beyond just Southern California. So you have some folks here that aren't necessarily just from LA. But what I'm really seeing is that the California Democratic Party is here in force, in the Los Angeles, LA County Democratic Party specifically. And we know how powerful that Democratic Party is, which is made up of people from all different neighborhoods in the city of LA, the West Side, the Valley, and that party really helped Karen Bass win this election. As you may recall, Karen Bass had support not just from the local, state, and county party, but Kamala Harris came out and campaigned for her a few different times, the vice president. You had President Biden, you had Bernie Sanders, you had all of these huge names in the Democratic Party, and all of them endorsed Karen Bass, and all of them came here. It is rare to see a vice president spend so much time on a mayor's race, but they knew with the amount of money that Rick Caruso had spent, they wanted to ensure that someone like Karen Bass was ready to, as you just heard, build those coalitions, bring those different players together and really solve these problems. So the Democratic Party is out here in force today, not just those elected officials, but just Democrats in LA, in LA County, who are hopeful that Karen Bass will be a different kind of mayor for this city. And a lot of that has to do with the representation, going off of what we were just hearing. Yeah. Many people just are so incredibly proud to be here in the Microsoft Theater today to see the history take place. I'll send it back
Josh,
to you.
it would have been curious to see what the Democratic Party's reaction would have been if Rick Caruso had won this race. There were a lot of questions about his Democratic bona fides, but real quick, it is past 1:15 now, the scheduled start for this ceremony and this service. I want to ask some technical questions here. They look like there are a lot of empty seats behind you, but I don't think that's because they are unclaimed. Let's talk about, it's obviously not going to start exactly on time, but how much longer do you think this is going to be? Because I know there were some issues in getting people into the building today.
Well, I want to step out of the way and just give you a little glimpse of what the room looks like right now. Of course, when we got word that Vice President Kamala Harris was going to administer that historic oath of office, that comes with it a United States Secret Service presence. Every person coming in here has to go through those metal detectors, has to be screened. And when we arrived 2.5 hours ago, the line almost wrapped around the Microsoft Theater, and I was told a short time ago that line still exists, just taking time to get folks in here. I will say that the seats are filling up more than what we've seen, and it wouldn't surprise me if they start within the next 5 minutes or so. We keep getting those announcements, but I think they want to really make sure that everyone who wanted to be here is here and has a seat. I want to pan over to the left and show you where those poetry readings are going to happen. We were told over in the corner on that circle, you can see kind of out in the crowd. We're also going to be hearing from the Hamilton High School Choir. That is where Karen Bass, who grew up in the Fairfax area, that is where she went to high school. So the choir from Hamilton High will be performing here. So we're expecting some music, some poetry, some speeches, religious leaders, quite the program planned to mark this historic day. And of course, that roughly 15-minute speech from Karen Bass. You can see people are dressed pretty nice for this occasion here to mark history, spending their Sunday in downtown Los Angeles. Hear that DJ music playing in the background, definitely a festive crowd. And whenever I ask people about, are you thinking about tomorrow, are you thinking about the work ahead, they're just so confident that Karen Bass is going to be able to handle that. I'm told that you guys are seeing Governor Gavin Newsom. He's here right now, looks like a little bit of a crowd around him. We weren't sure, actually, Jory and Michelle, if the governor was going to come. I had asked his office about a week ago. The reason why we weren't sure was because he chose not to endorse in the Los Angeles mayor's race. He did endorse in certain races. He actually campaigned for Katie Porter in Orange County, and so it was surprising that Governor Gavin Newsom decided to sit this out. His reasoning was, well, I'm on the ballot and I don't like to endorse in other races. But I also know from reporting that he is close with Rick Caruso as well as Karen Bass, and I think he really wanted to stay out of the LA mayor's race, but he is here today to show her support. And I assume that we will be seeing Mayor Eric Garcetti. Today is his last day. I know that he is here somewhere. I don't know if you guys have spotted him on any of the cameras yet, Jory and Michelle, but quite a 9.5 years for Mayor Garcetti. I know we did a long piece last week, about a 4-minute piece that we probably may not have time to run right now, but it really looked back on everything that Mayor Garcetti accomplished, some of the scandals, and sort of the way he leaves the city with that big question mark regarding homelessness. Over 40,000 on our streets. Jory and Michelle?
Well, yeah, even though he is, officially leaving, I'm sure as the transition happens, he'll be in close contact with her, him, and his team with regard to how she's going to take over and start running the city. So we've been looking in the crowd trying to see who we could spot.
Yeah, we talked about endorsements. We saw Joe Buscaino, city council member, on stage who endorsed Rick Caruso during the race. So he is up on the stage. I think we're gonna check back in with Josh Haskell. So don't go far, Josh. We're gonna wait for that ceremony to start. In the meantime,
the mayor-elect's transition team includes dozens of members from a wide range of sectors.
Yeah, we checked in with some of them ahead of today's inauguration to see how they feel about the change happening at City Hall. Eyewitness News reporter Annabelle Munoz has more.
I'm going to be there with bells on. I wouldn't miss it for nothing in the world. And I'm just going to be looking forward to seeing her take the oath of office and continue the work that she's already done.
LA Mayor-elect Karen Bass's transition advisory team is excited.
Very excited. I'm very proud of Los Angeles that we elected Karen Bass to become our next mayor.
The team is diverse, from elected officials like Senators Maria Elena Durazo and Stephen Bradford to immigrant rights leaders like Marta Arevalo, the executive director of the Central American Resource Center, Carecen.
Incredible group of women, people from the nonprofit, sectors, people that have been around for a long time in LA city politics that care about the city. And I'm really excited to be a part of something like this for the very first time.
Bass is taking on the helm and taking on big issues. Arevalo stressed members have a mutual commitment to address intersectional issues like housing.
Immigrant families are facing homelessness. Immigrant families are facing not being able to afford living in the city that is theirs and that they work in and that they go to school in.
Senator Maria Elena Durazo says she hopes to bring in support on climate, housing, and jobs.
I look forward to good jobs being created as a result of our partnership, because I do think that whether you're formerly incarcerated or formerly unhoused, that you have to have hope for the future.
Senator Bradford says Bass will also be addressing police matters, one issue he's working on at the state level.
And I've introduced a bill that deals with pretextual traffic stops, so we won't, hopefully won't have to deal with just getting stopped for a non-working blinker or brake light, and it winds up escalating in something else much greater.
Annabelle Munoz, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
So we'll also see if outgoing Mayor Eric Garcetti will be kind of on the transition team to help Karen Bass in her first few days and weeks. In his final days in office, Garcetti spoke candidly about everything from homelessness to the City Hall racism scandal.
Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell has more on what's next for him and his message for Angelenos.
I know that we're going to house many people in the next few years. We're going to see homelessness come down. I could see it coming up, and I ran to the crisis.
Although homelessness existed before Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti was sworn in 9.5 years ago, and it will certainly exist when he leaves City Hall, and Garcetti is confident he's laid the foundation for LA to find its way out of the crisis. Garcetti's critics point to how much worse homelessness has gotten on his watch, with an estimated 40,000 living on the city's streets. But the 51-year-old says it's unfair to blame one person for years of neglecting renters, not building affordable housing, and failing to recognize the trauma caused by those problems.
People don't understand that mayors and cities really don't have the authority on what causes homelessness, and in the past, what solved homelessness. We don't have a mental health department. We don't have a Veterans Affairs department. We don't run the child welfare department. We don't run the prisons or the jails.
So as Garcetti leaves office, he's asking the 4 million residents of LA to look in the mirror and find ways they can help solve homelessness, whether it's supporting the building of homeless shelters or affordable housing in their neighborhoods, or helping a person down on their luck. Garcetti says he won't be satisfied as long as there's one person on the street, but firmly believes his 2 terms have addressed the problem long term.
While I've been mayor, we've boosted black and brown incomes by 44% and 43% when it's only gone up about 25% nationally, reduced poverty by 27%. If we aren't helping everybody, LA will never move forward. We're a majority minority city, and nobody here should feel that they don't belong.
Promoting this idea of belonging for Garcetti has centered on major achievements in transportation, adding transit lines that connect far corners of the city to places like downtown LAX, the beach, and neighboring counties. The 2028 Olympics is one of Garcetti's most proud accomplishments, along with addressing climate change and leading the city through the COVID-19 pandemic. But a sexual harassment scandal involving Garcetti's former chief of staff and top advisor Rick Jacobs created a dark cloud over his final 2 years as mayor. Former staffers at City Hall have blamed Garcetti for not intervening, claiming that he witnessed the harassment on multiple occasions.
When you're the boss at the top, you can only tell the truth, which is that I never witnessed that. But of course, my heart breaks for anybody, and I think we always have to support people who say, something happened to me.
It may come as a surprise that during our interview at downtown LA's Homeboy Industries, where Garcetti unveiled a housing project for the homeless, the mayor told us he's grateful the scandal kept him in Los Angeles, referencing the leaked audio scandal involving 3 city council members.
I actually, look back on it with a lot of gratitude. This year, when those tapes came out, somebody else, including the council president, might have been mayor. My mom said, I think God wanted you to be here this year, finish your term out.
A year and a half ago, Garcetti was nominated by President Biden to be the next U.S. ambassador to India. But the Rick Jacobs scandal has delayed his confirmation vote and left an important foreign post vacant. Garcetti believes a vote will happen in the next month or 2.
I'm looking forward, and I'm optimistic they'll take a vote, and I could be there as early as spring of this next year. Hopefully when I get there, I can bring LA to India and a little bit of India back to LA.
Josh Haskell, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
So as we wrap up nearly a decade of the Eric Garcetti Los Angeles reign, we look forward to Karen Bass's time as mayor of Los Angeles. And as Josh just highlighted, there will be a lot of issues that Karen Bass will have to tackle. Foremost among them is the homelessness issue. Every year, thousands to tens of thousands of people are taken off the street and found housing. But when more people are going onto the streets, the homelessness crisis continues, and it looks like what it does today with 40,000 plus on our streets.
Yeah, it's I can't even begin to imagine, what the plan will be and how it's implemented. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly an issue that has been ongoing, and everybody's, trying to figure it out. But beyond homelessness, also, I would imagine crime. Yeah, it's a big one.
Crime, homelessness. Josh Haskell, you covered this campaign. Karen Bass says she promises to put 15,000 people into housing in her first year alone. We've heard promises like this before, and we also heard her be knocked by Rick Caruso that she said this can't be solved in 4 years, which is a realistic evaluation of a problem with this scope.
Well, you highlighted so clearly, and in our interview with Eric Garcetti, he said, and he highlighted 21,000 people have been housed just this year, but 21,000 people have become homeless. And so Karen Bass's whole campaign and message has really been about not just triaging this situation, not just putting a Band-Aid on it, actually ending homelessness. And Karen Bass got a lot of flack during the campaign where she says she was just being honest by saying in that Wall Street Journal interview, at the end of my first term, 4 years, you will see the light at the end of the tunnel on homelessness. And people were criticizing her, well, we can't wait 4 years. And Karen Bass said her words were taken out of context. What she meant was, and the number is actually 17,000 is what she's promised in her first year. And what she says is she wants to get folks off the street right away. In her first 100 days, how about in her first week, Jory and Michelle, she is going to go to some of the, what she says, most troubling encampments that are really causing problems for our neighborhoods, and she is going to get those folks into shelter. And you may be asking what Karen Bass has asked. Well, are there enough beds? And Karen Bass has been working in her very short 3-week transition to locate hotels, come up with creative solutions to really show that she's serious about this problem. You may be asking, declaring a state of emergency, what is a state of emergency? Well, I asked Karen Bass that. She said it is the way that she can bring together federal, state, local agencies, all of the different homeless outreach organizations, and actually bring the Los Angeles City Council into one unit to not just make these promises, but have real action. So tomorrow at the Emergency Operations Center, she's going to bring the general managers of city departments together and show that she is serious about not just removing those encampments, but coming up with those long-term plans to, as Karen Bass has said, actually end homelessness. What does that mean? Well, that means looking at the juvenile detention system, the foster care system. How do people become homeless in the first place? We're going to hear a lot about that in her first 100 days as mayor. And she doesn't want people to think, okay, well, Rick Caruso ran this tough on homelessness, tough on crime campaign. Karen Bass wants people to know she's can be tough on homelessness and tough on crime as well and bring real change. And so I think it's going to be really interesting to see how she works with this new city council, as she says, build coalitions, build these relationships to actually bring results. And as Karen Bass, as we know, she's a member of Congress. She's been in Congress for, I believe, 12 years. So she is really betting on those relationships in Washington, D.C. She had the HUD secretary out here to tour homeless encampments with her. She believes that our past administrations, elected leaders here in LA, have not really tapped in to those resources in Washington, D.C. So she's going to ask more of the federal government, more of the state. We already know that Gavin Newsom is giving more money to homelessness than ever before. And so that's going to be really fascinating. But something that Michelle brought up earlier that I just wanted to highlight, Michelle, you were talking about how the role that Garcetti may play in this next Karen Bass administration. Well, Karen Bass has already asked the Garcetti staffers to stay on through April because of just how short this transition was. So as she said, she doesn't want anyone to feel like no one's home. And so she wants the work of the city to continue. And so although Karen Bass has gone out and not so far hired a lot of ex-Garcetti staffers, her chief of staff is someone that actually has been working on the LA Olympic 2028 committee, she said in that piece she's not going to be Eric Garcetti, but at least in these first couple months she wants people to be patient. She's going to have to lean on some of the folks already in office. I want to bring in a 20-year-old Karen Bass supporter, someone that we've been speaking to here, Ruth Alcantara. Tell us why you're here today and why you're so excited to hear Karen Bass speak.
Well, this is obviously a monumental, it's historical. The opportunity to see the first female mayor and the first female black mayor of Los Angeles is absolutely incredible. I couldn't pass up this once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Why do you feel that Karen Bass is the right person to tackle these huge problems that we've been discussing?
I think through the way that she ran her campaign, you can definitely tell that she's authentic, she's real, and she's motivated to make a change. I'm excited to see her come back home and really make some action here in LA.
And we know that she loves this city. We know that she's aware of the problems. You're going to have to work with people that support you, that don't support you. Any of your friends vote for Rick Caruso, and how are they feeling about this day?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends, coworkers who worked on the Caruso campaign. I think that I'm excited to see, honestly, how she brings him on to her platform and see how he can help her as well. I think that they'll be able to collaborate and hopefully get some housing up I think that together they can probably accomplish more than she could alone, but I'm excited to see her female leader come into action.
You told me you're 20 years old. Folks who are your age are really struggling in Los Angeles right now to pay rent, to find housing, to find jobs. What do you think Karen Bass can do to address that?
I think that the housing crisis is one of the things that is really overlooked in LA. I think we don't talk about it enough. Rent is absolutely insane. I'm going to graduate from college next year, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford to live here and stay here in the city that I love so much. So I'm excited to see how she can reduce rent prices, but also help the people that own those apartment buildings, also with rent control. I'm excited to see how she addresses crime and obviously also the homelessness crisis.
I want to bring in our anchors, Jory and Michelle. Do you have any questions? No, Ruth, stay here. No, we love hearing from you, and I just want to see if our anchors have any questions for Ruth here, a Karen Bass supporter here to witness history.
Yeah, well, it's just it's fascinating to see young people be involved in the political process. Is that something that she's always been interested in, or did this maybe draw her into this event?
Ruth, tell us why you decided to become involved in the political process and come here today. Has this always been a passion of you, or it's a situation that you're in that you feel like an elected official like Karen Bass could fix some of the issues you're facing?
Yeah, so I'm the daughter of 2 immigrants who immigrated here in like the 90s. So I think politics has always been part of my life, but the reason that I got involved was because during COVID, I'm from the San Fernando Valley. I saw a lot of homelessness and a lot of crime going up, and I think that's what really encouraged me to get acclimated into the political sphere.
Thank you. And anything else from our anchors for Ruth while we have her here?
I actually think we're running out of time here, Josh.
So enjoy the event, Ruth. It was good to meet you.
Ruth, thank you so much.
Yeah, we hear the crowd go up behind Josh here. It looks like we are about to get started about 20 minutes late, but here we go. The inauguration of Karen Bass.
Please join me in welcoming the elected officials of the city of Los Angeles.
We still hear you on show, please.
Including the next city council member for the 1st District, Eunices Hernandez. Our city council president from the 2nd District of Los Angeles, Paul Krikorian. The city council member for the 3rd District, Bob Blumenfield. The council member for the 4th District, Nithya Raman. The next city council member for the 5th District, Katie Young-Yaroslavsky. The next city council member for the 13th District, Hugo Soto Martinez. And the next city council member for the 15th District, Tim McCosker. Along with Los Angeles City Controller-elect Kenneth Mejia. And Los Angeles City Attorney-elect Heidi Feldstein Soto. Please give them all a round of applause. And now, please welcome to the stage Los Angeles Mayor-elect Karen Bass. One more time for Karen Bass. put your hands together for the City Council member for the 7th District, Monica Rodriguez. The City Council member for the 8th District, Marquise Harris Dawson. The City Council member for the 9th District, Curran Price. The City Council member for the 10th District, Heather Hutt. The next City Council member for the 11th District, Tracy Park. The City Council member for the 12th District, John Lee. Honored guests, please rise if you're able and remain standing as we welcome to the stage musician, 3rd class from the U.S. Navy, Alexander Charles, to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please welcome Reverend Norman Johnson, Rabbi Sharon Brous, Dr. Sadem Namasaiha, and Reverend Renee Molina to give this afternoon's invocation.
Shall we pray? Eternal God, we are grateful for this day, grateful for the privilege of witnessing and participating in the historic event, Karen Bass, the first woman and only the second African American to take the oath of office as the mayor of our fair city. Her journey has been long, but she has stayed true to the values taught by her parents and a commitment to this city being a place of opportunity and possibility for all peoples. The powerful belief that she has in multiracial democracy. Yes, she takes the oath of office today, but help us to be more than mere spectators, but participants in the fashioning of a better future for the city of Los Angeles, a future where valleys can be exalted, mountains and hills made low, crooked places made straight, and rough places plain. And there's a radiant glory of justice, compassion, and peace for all that might be revealed, and we all see it together. It is in this hope we pray. Amen.
Holy One, bless this city of visionaries and dreamers, strivers and seekers, and maybe most notably, storytellers. The stories we tell here with the pen and with our lives ignite the imagination of the whole world. Across our nation, an old story is resurgent in our time, a story built on lies, prejudices, conspiracy theories, a story of scarcity in which one group's gain is another's loss, a story that narrows the horizon of our moral concern and threatens the fabric of our democracy. But in this city, we will never cede to that story. Instead, together we are writing a new story, rooted in great dreams and fueled by our deepest commitments. In our story, we are strengthened by our diversity. Here, faith is not a weapon for bigotry and repression, but a sacred and timeless call to brotherhood and to sisterhood. Here, the greatest antidote to ignorance and intolerance is strong alliances, smart organizing, and love, sweet love. Ours is a story of ceaseless striving, of better angels working together toward a multiracial democracy that is rooted in equal justice, where every person is treated in God's own image, and our precious earth is stewarded with care. Holy One, we ask you to bless our new mayor, a brave and strong and steady force who has dedicated her life to telling a new story for our city, for our state, for our nation, and for our time, whose own life is a redemption story. Strengthen the hand of this fearless advocate with her finely honed moral compass, this tireless civil servant who will always fight for the least of these and for all of us with an open heart full of compassion. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shechianu v'kiyamanu v'giyanu lazman hazeh. Thank you, God, for keeping us alive and sustaining us, for allowing us to reach this moment so pregnant with possibility, in which we, together with our new mayor, will write the story of our time. Amen.
In the name of God, the most merciful, the beneficent. God, we offer our thanks and gratitude for our Mayor, Karen Bass, who has served our country, and now she will serve our city in leadership role. Please provide her with reminders each day of why she decided to dedicate her life to public service and use that commitment to encourage her. Give her peace when her work takes her away from her family. We ask you that you draw near to her and give her wisdom on how to best support her community. We offer our thanks and gratitude for each member of our community and the opportunity that we all have to come together to do good. O Allah, our Lord, unite our nation around the principle of the justice, peace, love, and faith. Put peace and love in our hearts for the diversity that makes our country so beautiful. Oh God, we pray for our nation, the United States of America, to remain loving, compassionate, and remove prejudice from our hearts and enable us to love our brothers and sisters of all faiths and none. Make our hearts and minds aware of our heritage, fulfilling duties and responsibility as a citizen of our country. Allah, most merciful, allow us to show kindness to those most vulnerable in society. Lord, give our government vision and wisdom as they take the decision affecting peace in our world. Amen.
Let us pray. Lord of heaven and earth, we thank you that our generation gets to see the first female mayor of color, alcaldesa, in Los Angeles, California. First female in 241 years. First female after 42 cycles. We also pray and ask you for safety and protection over our new mayor-elect, your servant, Karen Bass. We ask that you safeguard her and her team. We ask for physical safety, mental safety, emotional safety, and spiritual safety. We bless her with wisdom in solving our city's biggest challenges. We bless her with creativity, teamwork, and innovation when generating solutions. We bless her with the ancient wisdom of Esther and Solomon to be able to shepherd and care for an entire city. Oramos que ella encuentre espacios de descanso y recarga. We also pray that she may find spaces of rest to recharge. También te pedimos por fuerza y valentía y ganas en los momentos más duros y complejos. We also pray for strength and bravery when times are toughest and most complex. And God, you have a history of showing yourself committed to those who are committed to justice in the streets. We bless her with health. May our mayor flourish. Que viva nuestra alcaldesa. Amen.
Please welcome to the stage Grammy Award-winning musical artist Mary Mary, here to perform Can't Give Up Now.
There will be mountains that I will have to climb, and there will be battles that I will have to fight. But victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. But how can I expect to win if I never try? I just can't give up now. Come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Never said there wouldn't be trials, never said I wouldn't fall. Never said that everything would go the way I wanted to go. But when my back gets backed against the wall, and I feel all hope is gone, I'll lift my head up to the sky and say, help me to be strong. Oh, I just can't give up now, 'cause I come too far from where I started from. See, nobody told me, the road would be. I don't believe that he's brought me this far to leave me. No. Said I can't give up now. Just can't give up now. 'Cause I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me. Now it's not gonna be. No, it ain't, John. Not gonna be easy, but I don't believe that he's brought me this far. Wave your hands if you believe it. Yeah. I can't give up now. We've come too far. Nobody ever told me that it would be easy. See, it's been a little rough, but I don't believe it to leave me. Hallelujah. God bless you, Karen Bass.
Please welcome the director of the UCLA Labor Center, Kent Wong.
Good afternoon, Los Angeles. Buenas tardes, Los Angeles. I was born and raised here in Los Angeles, and I have lived almost my entire life here. Today is one of my proudest moments as an Angelino to celebrate with each and every one of you the inauguration of the 43rd mayor of our great city, Karen Bass. Karen Bass is the first woman mayor and the first woman of color in the 241-year history of the city of Los Angeles. Established back in 1781 as El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Angeles. I have been blessed to have known Karen for more than 30 years. Karen is my friend, she is my sister, and I guarantee you that she is a woman of integrity, of compassion, of vision. She is the right leader at this historic moment in Los Angeles. Karen and I first met when we served together on the community funding board of the Liberty Hill Foundation. In the early days of our careers, we studied and learned from Reverend James Lawson Jr., who taught us about the power of nonviolence. Reverend Lawson and Dolores Huerta, who is with us today, taught us that the power of nonviolent organizing allows ordinary people to do extraordinary things when we work together. Karen Bass was with us exactly 1 year ago when we dedicated the UCLA James Lawson Jr. Worker Justice Center here in Los Angeles. In 1990, Karen founded the Community Coalition. to build multiracial unity in Los Angeles, to prevent substance abuse, to advance economic development, quality education, and youth leadership in South Los Angeles. Karen was elected to the California State Assembly and became our speaker and a champion for working families, for labor unions, for women, for the LGBTQ community, for immigrants, for civil and for human rights. Karen moved on to Congress, where she became the leader of the Black Congressional Caucus. Karen Bass has a deep understanding of the California State Legislature, as well as unprecedented experience in U.S. Congress. She has worked closely with President Biden and our very own Vice President, Kamala Harris. She has worked closely with President Barack Obama. And it is precisely these experiences and relationships that will help her succeed as our mayor of Los Angeles. But sisters and brothers, Karen Bass can't do it alone. We must all work together to create the change we need. We must all work together to house the unhoused, to green the environment, to strengthen public safety, to create living jobs, and to connect underserved communities with those jobs. And we must work together to build a city that works for all of us. Today, we celebrate a victory for Karen Bass. We celebrate a victory for our city. And tomorrow, we will prove that ordinary people working together can indeed accomplish extraordinary things to create a city of hope, a city of justice, and a city of the angels. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Council President Paul Kerkorian to administer the oath of office to the city's 5 newly elected and the re-elected members of the Los Angeles City Council.
Thank you. Mayor Bass, this is a time of unprecedented challenges in our city, but today, as I look out at this audience and see the people with us, I know this is also a time of unprecedented opportunity as this city turns a page and looks forward to the Bass administration. And at this time, there is no leader more capable of bringing us together as a city and putting us on a positive path towards a better vision for this city than Karen Bass, a person who's done that her entire life. And I want you to know, Mayor Bass, that you will have a very strong partner in the Los Angeles City Council. And I couldn't be more proud of the incoming and returning leaders of our Los Angeles City Council, a city council that will feature for the first time 6 women, the largest number we've ever had in the city council. A city council that will feature 5 brand new members who are not from City Hall, who come into City Hall in order to bring a city government with new energy, new effectiveness, new accountability, new integrity, and return civility of discourse and unity of purpose to this city. That's this city council, and I want to invite them to come on down and join me. From the 1st District, Councilmember-elect Eunices Hernandez. From the 3rd District, Councilmember Bob Blumenfield. From the 5th District, Councilmember-elect Tracy Park. From the 7th District, I'm sorry, got my numbers mixed up. Councilmember-elect Katie Young-Yaroslawski from the 5th District. From the 7th District, Councilmember Monica Rodriguez. From the 9th District, Council President Pro Tem Curran Price. From the 11th District, Councilmember-elect Tracy Park. From the 13th District, Councilmember-elect Hugo Soto Martinez. And from the 15th District, Councilmember-elect Tim McCosker. And I apologize that I'm going to have my backs to you while I read this. So I'd like you to repeat after me, and when I say your name, that's when you say your name. Okay, don't repeat your name. I, your name, do solemnly swear. Oh, I'm sorry. Raise your right hands, please. Thank you. I'm not as good at this as the city clerk, so I apologize. I state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of council member of the City of Los Angeles according to the best of my ability. Congratulations. Please welcome your Los Angeles City Council members.
Please welcome poet Sophie Shiv.
Mayor Karen Bass, Madam Vice President, esteemed city leaders, and fellow Angelinos, today, I do not stand in front of you, but fellow angels, I sit beside you, nestled in the sweet warmth of the wooden pews of unity, swaying, braving the cold of division, the cold of a vision of marginalization, of tokenization, of being okay with a divided nation, of a nation where my generation does not take pride in its deviation. But angels, today we sit in a temple of unity, a unity my generation was told could only happen if we chose between the pursuit of justice and the building of community. But fellow angels, the strength of the women here before me told me to ignore this, told me to deplore this. The new leader of our city does not pit community against justice. She creates communities of justice, just so my generation can see that just communities are just what we need. Angels. The glass that once covered the ceiling of our temple lays by our feet. They are covered by boots, both strapped and unstrapped. Angels. My generation has been told to pick itself up by its bootstraps. But the women here before me question how we can pick ourselves up by our bootstraps if we are never given the resources to buy boots in the first place. Angels. Today, the blazing warmth of hope melts the glass by our feet and helps us fashion it into bootstraps for every angel to turn into art, so that rather than living life thinking about what we wear on our feet, we think about what we wear on our heart. Angels. Today, the glass ceiling did not shatter into perfect boxes of division, into perfect boxes of polarization, little hubs for exploitation. It exploded into beautiful imperfection, inspirational chaos, the ashes of an incinerated veil of homogenization, diamonds reflecting the light of inspiration, a new home for my generation. Angels, the glass ceiling before us has shattered because we used the wings of our ancestors to fly up and punch through it. Because the people sang and sang so loudly that the frequency of our voices demanded there be reconfiguration. Angels, the glass ceiling before us shattered because this city was built by the people, for the people, we the people, of an angelic city of change. And there is no more ceiling to muffle us, no more people to speak for us, no more people who ignore us. Only a city that adores us, only a city where the door is opened for us. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage musical guests, Las Cafeteras.
One, two, check, check, 1, 2. Check, 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 1, 2. Check, can you hear me? Check, 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 1, 2. Can you hear me? Check, 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 check. Can y'all hear me out there? Can y'all hear me out there? Because I cannot hear myself, but let's have a good time. Can y'all hear me out there? All right then.
Yes,
everybody get your hands up. Get your hands up. Here we go. Clap once if you can hear me. Clap twice if you can hear me. If you can hear me, say Karen Bass.
Karen Bass.
If you can hear me, say Karen Bass. This song was made famous by a 17-year-old Chicano boy from Pacoima, California, 1957. But people don't know it's a 400-year-old Afro-Mexican song. This song is called La Bamba. This song survived slavery. This song survived colonialism. This song taught us that we got to tell our stories. And we have a new story to tell. So I need everybody, if you can, to stand up right now. I need everybody right now. If you can, I need you to stand up.
Todos de pie.
Échale. Everybody's hands up right now. Come on, manos arriba.
Come on. Yes, y es la bamba rebelde. Es la bamba rebelde que cantaré porque somos chicanas. Porque somos chicanas de East LA. Allá arriba y arriba. Allá arriba y arriba y arriba iré. Yo no creo en fronteras. Yo no creo en fronteras. Yo cruzaré. Yo cruzaré. Yo cruzaré. ¡Ja! Esas cafeteras. This is for la raza. ¡Ja! Ay, ay, ay.
Everybody say, oh yeah. All right. Feel good. Inside. All right, one more time. Here we go. Ready? Now clap your hands, everybody. Everybody, clap your hands. And if you're feeling real good, then get on up. Me and D are about to dance.
Te pido de corazón que se acabe la bomba, que se acabe la bomba y vengo a otra zona y arriba y arriba, ay arriba y arriba y arriba. Yo no creo en fronteras, no, 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 yo no creo en fronteras, yo cruzaré, yo cruzaré, yo cruzaré. Bam, 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 bam.
Everybody!
Bam, bam, bam.
You know the word!
Bam, 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 bam.
Everybody!
Bam, 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 bam.
To the right!
Bam, 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 bam.
To the left!
Bam, 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 bam.
In the back!
Bam, bam, bam.
In the front!
Bam, bam.
All right, here we go. Ready. Everybody get your hands up.
Everybody's
If you believe that it's a new day in LA, I want to see your hands up. All right, take us away. Here we go. One, two, 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Muévelo, muévelo.
Everybody move them hips.
Muévelo, muévelo. Muévelo, muévelo.
All right, keep it up.
Muévelo, muévelo.
Una mano en la cabeza. Una mano en la cabeza. Una mano en la cintura. Everybody, we about to go down. Ready? Down. We about to go down. Because we did the work. We did the work. All right, everybody ready? Arriba. Arriba. Arriba, arriba, arriba. Here. Arriba. Arriba. Arriba, arriba. Come on, LA. Karen Bass in the house. Hey. We want to say thank you. Karen Bass. 1, go. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias.
We're Las Cafeteras.
Please welcome back Council President Paul Krikorian to administer the oath of office, first to Los Angeles City Controller-elect Kenneth Mejia, and then to Los Angeles City Attorney-elect Heidi Feldstein Soto.
Well, no better way to follow that than by administering an oath, I think. But, we also, this is, I think, the first time in Los Angeles history where we have 3 incoming brand new citywide elected officials, all new to City Hall as well. So this is a time of great new opportunity as we welcome our new city controller, Kenneth Mejia, and our new city attorney, Heidi Feldstein Soto. So I would like to go ahead and administer the oath, and you state your name. Why don't you come on over here, Heidi? You state your names when I say state your names. I state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Heidi Feldstein Soto, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles,
and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Next, please give a warm welcome to the members and conductor of the Chamber Choir of Hamilton High School. Please welcome to the stage California Senate President Pro Tem Tony Atkins.
Well, good afternoon. What an honor to be part of this incredibly historic day. And I am thrilled to be here with our governor, our lieutenant governor, and my colleagues in the legislature, the assembly members, and the senators today. Now, this may be the first time a woman has been elected mayor of Los Angeles, but it's certainly not the first time that my friend, Mayor-elect Karen Bass, has made history. "14 years ago, she was chosen by her peers in Sacramento to serve as Speaker of the California Assembly, becoming the first woman of color and the first Democratic woman to hold that position. When she took that oath, Karen gave a generation of women from all walks of life the opportunity to see themselves not only in public office, but at the helm. She blazed a trail that I was able to humbly follow 6 years later. And although Karen moved on to Washington, D.C., by the time I was chosen to serve as Speaker, she graciously came back to give me the same oath she had taken. Now, that would have been enough for me. I was honored. She could have simply returned to D.C. and to her work there. But that is not Karen. Knowing how daunting it is to be the only woman in a room full of men, she took it upon herself to offer me guidance, support, and friendship. Karen introduced me to her kitchen cabinet of women, and she asked them to look after me, which they continue to do to this day. And Karen, they asked me to give you their love and their warmest congratulations. Over the years, Karen would regularly check in and was always kind enough to catch up with me when I traveled to Washington, D.C. She didn't have to do that. She didn't have to do that. She did it because that's who she is: loyal, caring, and selfless. And that is the mayor that Los Angeles is getting today. A former physician's assistant who saw the addiction, the crime, and violence that was plaguing Los Angeles, and founded the Community Coalition to combat it through people-powered activism. A former Assembly Speaker who saw that our state was careening toward financial catastrophe and coalesced both sides of the aisle to get us back on track and set us up for years of strong budgets that support California families. A public servant who acted as champion for California's foster children and changed the culture in Sacramento. She changed that culture to ensure that they are not an afterthought and don't fall prey to homelessness and disadvantaged futures. Now, former Speaker John Perez, who would follow Karen as Speaker, once told me that Karen has never gotten the credit that she rightly deserved during those budget years, holding the line as she did to protect many vulnerable Californians. And that is a passion that Karen took with her to Congress, where in her first term, she created the Bipartisan Congressional Caucus on Foster Youth. When Karen sees a challenge, she leaps to find a solution, never hesitating to reach out to all parties to find the best way forward. It is no coincidence that one of her most powerful accomplishments has the word coalition right in the title. Karen isn't here for credit or photo ops. She is here to work. She is here because she loves this city. She loves its people. She is here to answer the call to serve. And that is just who she is. Every time I've had the chance to visit Los Angeles, I'm reminded of the shows and movies that inspired my California dreaming as a young girl. Today in particular, I can't help but think of the original Adventures of Superman and that show. Now, for those of you old enough to remember it, you may recall that it used the exterior shots of LA City Hall as Clark Kent's place of work. Well, for the first time ever, Superwoman is moving into that beautiful building. Superwoman is moving into that building. And that makes my heart and our hearts soar. Congratulations, Mayor Bass.
Please welcome our nation's first Youth Poet Laureate, Amanda Gorman.
Thank you. Thank you. What is the way forward? When women have met many roadblocks instead of roads, what is the way forward? When we carry so much lots and loads, it starts with the new dawn, drawn into the open by women whose silence is broken. It starts with acting on our responsibility to bring visibility to the most vulnerable. We are a formidable force to be reckoned with, that must be beckoned to the table. Together, we are able to lift and rise all boats. Let them say, today we wrote our own path, not with wrath, but with will. That still in this dark hour we spoke our hearts to power, that we spoke as the people, equal. There's a lot at stake, but making great change takes courage. So we encourage women, cada mujer, who dares to stare fear square in its face. Voices who've always shown that when one woman stands up, she is never alone. When she steps to right a wrong, she will fight to bring others along, making our cities, country, and world all the stronger. It is our honor to witness her strength, her story, her spirit, not just for ourselves, but the generations who will stand up when they hear it. So let it be said that light will be shed when our world is led by leaders ahead of the headlines, the voices who were first on the front line, knowing the wind not by where it is, but by where it is blowing, leading not just for today, but for where tomorrow is going, not just for our viewing. This is our movement brewing, our doing. We are the daughters who are the storm, the very form of change. The time of never before is officially past, for the world must learn this and learn it fast. While we may be the first, we are far from the last. The way forward isn't a road we take. The way forward is a road we make here, a path we cast forth today. For where there's will, there's women. And where there's women, there's forever a way. Thank you so much.
belongs to you. That's alright with me. Worlds could end around me, somewhere that I can't see. You and me were meant to be. That's alright with me. Things come, things may go. All things that I know. You said you have shown me alright with me. You think to win, I love to be in. You know the truth, I think alright with me. Stars that shine, make a wish like 3 times. Dreams come true, it's in the mind. That's alright with me. Your wish is my command. Never thought of falling up again. Again with my best friend. That's alright with me. Friends found friends, friends come on. That I know. Just have to ask you alright with me. Yeah.
You are watching the inauguration ceremony for Mayor-elect Karen Bass, set to become the 43rd mayor in LA history. Thank you for joining this stream on abc7.com and all of our streaming devices.
Yes, all right. Definitely a party there. I'm excited to see, and I've been doing a little jamming with the music. They got a live DJ there, some musical performances we've heard. So yeah, really a celebratory tone for the people that are there as she, steps into this role and becomes the 43rd mayor of Los Angeles.
Things have been running a bit behind schedule today. They got things started at 1:35, 1 hour ago. They were set to get underway about 1:15, 20 minutes late. I think it was expected to be about an hour and a half total. It is looking like it is going to go well beyond that. I believe we still have at least a couple speakers before we get to the actual inauguration of Karen Bass. By the way, this is Jory Rand and Michelle Fisher here in our ABC7 studios in Glendale. Again, thank you for joining us for this very important day for our city of Los Angeles and really Southern California. Karen Bass will become just the second black mayor in LA history, the first woman mayor, the first black woman mayor in Los Angeles in more than 170 years of having mayors, 250 years of LA history.
Chloe Bailey.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got another performance. Chloe Bailey is about to take the stage now, so we'll let you tune back in.
Try to see in my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can't go on? While you see it your way, run the risk of knowing that our love may soon be gone. We can work it out. We can work it out. Think of what you're saying. You can get it wrong and still you think that it's alright. Think of what I'm saying. We can work it out and get it straight or say goodnight. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. I have always thought that it's a crime, so I will ask you once
try to see it my way. Only time will tell if I am right or I am wrong. While you see it your way, there's a chance that we may fall apart before too long. We can't work it out. We can't work it out. Thank you.
one. Another one. Another one. DJ Khaled. Shining, yeah. All of this winning, I've been losing my mind. Oh, hold on. Don't try to slow me down. Hold on. Don't try to slow me down. Yeah. And now to make a fool for it. You gon' need a natural friend to lose.
All right, you are tuning in right now to the inauguration for Mayor-elect Karen Bass. In just a few minutes, she should be taking that oath of office. We know Kamala Harris is going to help with the ceremony. It's been going on for about an hour and a half now, and we are going to at some point as well hear from her, anticipating about a 15 or so minute speech as she addresses the people there and Angelenos who are going to, be living in the city that she's going to be running.
Yeah, this is a big deal for the city of Los Angeles. First woman mayor of Los Angeles, second black person ever to serve as mayor in Los Angeles in our long history here. One of the things I'm struck by, as I just want to introduce ourselves, Jory Rand and Michelle Fisher here on our ABC 7 stream. Thanks for tuning in as Los Angeles gets a new mayor, 43rd in history, is the presence once again of masking on stage. Just a couple months ago, it seemed that the pandemic had kind of been put behind us. These latest strains aren't as deadly as we've seen in the past, but as we head into winter, we're seeing numbers skyrocket. Hospitalizations are going way up. Our medical system is under strain. And so when we saw Karen Bass take the stage today, there she was with a mask on. I'm sure it's going to be removed for her speech and maybe the oath of office, but in an indoor setting like this, they are being careful.
Yes, we've talked about homelessness and other things, but COVID-19 too will still be something that she'll have to deal with as she leads the city.
A standing ovation here for Stevie Wonder taking the stage. Once again, we are going to turn things back over to the production here and the incomparable Stevie Wonder.
This is an incredible moment in history. Not just for people of color, but without question, it is that moment. But every human being that is about bringing people together. This is another step to what I believe is possible, because we all know more than ever, love is in need of love today. So I celebrate you, Mayor Bass, because I knew that was going to happen. Yes, yeah. So I want to do a song that I wrote and I gave to President Nelson Mandela when he was here. And the song is called Keep Our Love Alive. And we all must do that. I want you to hear the words. And for those of you conscious people of this city and of this nation and throughout the world, make it happen. Stop talking about it and be about it. Thank you. Yes, let's go. Evil is the mind that says they don't care. Selfish is the heart that won't give their share. Pour them, pour we. Wasted is the mind that won't take a stand. Lies the tongue that says they can't when they can. For him, for she, for as long as we live in the bliss with air on earth to breathe, we all should live to keep our love alive. More than blinds the soul that sees but won't show. Lost the leader with a way that won't go for you, for me. Worthless is the one with will that won't try. Round it are we all if we don't think high of you, you of me. For as long as I live in the bliss with air on earth to breathe, I know we live and I'll live to keep our love alive. Let's get it. Let's do this. This is your song, Karen. I'm born in hot town Mississippi, surrounded by a one that ain't so pretty. His parents give him love and affection to keep him strong
Wish that I could love you right in a special way. You light my fire. I feel alive with it, baby. You blow my mind. I'm satisfied. So much stuff in. Girl, you knock me out. Excited. I'm so excited. It makes me wanna shout, baby. Gee, I feel so lucky, yeah, to have you all alone. I really love the way you love me, girl. Ever I'll be yours. You blow my mind, baby. I'm so alive with you, baby. You blow my mind, baby. You blow my mind, baby. Baby, light my fire. I feel alive. You blow my mind. I'm satisfied.
Please welcome the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, to administer the oath of office to Mayor-elect Karen Bass.
Be present. Ready? Okay. Put your hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. And repeat after me.
Yes.
I, Karen Ruth Bass.
I, Karen Ruth Bass.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of California.
The Constitution of the State of California.
And the Charter of the City of Los Angeles.
And the Charter of the City of Los Angeles.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Of the office of mayor.
Of the office of mayor.
According to my best ability.
According to my best ability.
Madam Mayor. Go and talk to your people. Come on. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Los Los Angeles. Thank you so much. Madam Vice President, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. Your responsibilities send you around the nation and around the world, but today you chose to be here in your home city, and you were kind enough to bring several members of Congress on Air Force Two to come to Los Angeles. Vice President Harris, we support you, and Los Angeles has your back. Second gentleman, Doug, it has been wonderful to get to know you over these last couple of years, and thank you so much for your leadership. Senate President Tony Atkins, you are a history maker as well. It was my honor to be the one to swear you in as California's second female Assembly Speaker, and you continue to blaze a trail as California's first Senate President Pro Tem who is a woman. You broke that glass ceiling. You are an inspiration for women and the LGBTQ community, and you have been an impactful leader on one of the most important issues of our time, and that is housing. We are also graced by Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis, another trailblazer, the first woman Lieutenant Governor in California's history. Thank you for your leadership, making history with each of you. Today is a monumental moment in my life and in Los Angeles. The four of us, Californians, leaders, women, and let's not forget our all-female County Board of Supervisors. All right, Holly, Catherine, Hilda, Janice, Lindsay. All right. We're gonna make so much history together in a state that has enshrined in our Constitution a woman's right to decide. All right. Well, uh-oh. Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. We have had a fabulous program so far. We really have. Stevie Wonder, Mary, Amanda Gorman. Oh my gosh. What a program. And I don't know if everybody saw them dancing over there. They had line dancing going on over there. But let me just say that we are so proud of our state, because in our state we have enshrined in the Constitution a woman's right to decide what happens to her body. Governor Newsom, thank you for being here today. And thank you for your leadership. And you know you can expect me to call on you again and again, as I've already done, because I know that we can do big things together. I know that we can. And our first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom. I look forward to working with you because together we are going to house the thousands of women and children who are living on our streets. We're going to do that together. Governor Davis, Sharon Davis, it's so nice to see the two of you, and I will never forget the way Governor Davis stood by my side through the Great Recession when I was in that position as Speaker, and you stood by my side and helped me get through that, and I will forever be grateful. But I'm also going to be calling on you again. That's my message to everyone here. Now, Mayor Garcetti. Mayor Garcetti, we have known each other for much longer than your 21 years of service to this city, and I just have to tell you that your legacy is large. When we light the Olympic torch in 2028, when we take public transit to the airport, when we go to bed in apartments that are safer from earthquakes, and when we breathe in cleaner air, Angelenos will be benefiting from your legacy. And let me say something else about the mayor. I want to thank you for being supportive in every possible way during this very brief transition, 3 weeks. But you were there every step of the way, and I'm deeply appreciative for that. Now, from all over the country, I am so blessed to be joined by my congressional colleagues. And you know, I tell everybody that the best part of being in Congress are the relationships that you develop and the lifelong friendships that you have. So will the members of the Congress please stand up so we can acknowledge you? I will miss you, but I know that our friendships will go on for many, many years. And I'll be back to visit because I got to call on you too. To the city's outgoing officials, thank you for your service. We build on your work. And to those remaining and newly taking office, I look forward to a closely aligned relationship as we create opportunities for the people of this great city. I'm also honored to see so many other public officials, to see city workers who labor day in and day out to make sure that our city functions. And I want to give a special thanks for those who planned this event today, because this is the first time, and Mayor, you can tell me, and Mayor back there, Villaraigosa can tell me, but I believe this is the first time that a swearing in for a new mayor has not taken place on the steps of City Hall. So you see, we have the steps of City Hall behind us. That's as close as we could do. But I really am appreciative to the workers who had to make that big change to come over here, and they did such a beautiful job. Now, to my family, my 3 brothers, my brilliant and beautiful daughters and son, my nieces, nephews, and cousins, and my boys, my grandsons, they know that they are the light of my life, and I could not be here without your support. And to those no longer with us, Amelia and Michael, you know that you are always, always in my heart. My parents didn't live to see me to be elected to any office, but their love, support, and guidance is why I stand before you today. My mother always taught me that it is so easy to be kind, and that having compassion and empathy is so much more powerful than self-centeredness and self-promotion. My father taught me to be a critical thinker and to understand the historical context of national and international events. My daily conversations with him led me to make a lifetime commitment to do whatever I can do to change the world. Well, now Los Angeles has called me to serve at an inflection point in our history. Just think, a pandemic, a rapidly changing economy, a rapidly changing climate, the cost of living, and in Los Angeles, 40,000 people sleeping on the street every day. I believe that times of inflection require reflection, and I believe it's time for Angelenos to remind ourselves where we come from and who we are. My father fled Jim Crow Texas, sorry Sheila, during the great African-American migration after World War II. He worked for the Postal Service as a letter carrier. It was a union job, and his paycheck supported, that's right. I grew up in that union family. His paycheck supported my brothers and me and allowed our mother to choose to be a homemaker. When I think about the dreams of working people today, I reflect on the fact that my mother and father were able to buy a home in Los Angeles for their family of 6 with 1 paycheck. When I think of unaffordability, the difficulty, the struggle that working people face today in Los Angeles, I reflect on the challenges Angelenos have faced across our history. I reflect on the fact that no matter what, we never give up, we have never given up, and that's our LA magic. LA magic is still here. Just think about the goods coming through LA's ports that stock the shelves of America coast to coast. We stir the soul of the world. We've seen that today with the music, the culture that entertains and influences people all across the globe. So our task is not always to make magic, but to make sure it's sprinkled across every neighborhood and available to every family, like it was to my family when I was growing up. Today, too many Angelenos have no choice but to crowd multiple families into one home and to work multiple jobs just to barely pay rent. Tragically, our city has earned the shameful crown as being home to the most crowded neighborhoods in the nation: Pico Union, South LA, East LA, the East Valley. And Angelenos, we know our mission. We must build housing in every neighborhood, in every neighborhood. And the very best way for this to happen, the very best way, is for neighbors working together and deciding where the housing will go in their neighborhoods, where it should be built. Los Angeles, we just cannot continue to overcrowd neighborhoods that are already overcrowded. So this is my call to Los Angeles to welcome housing in every neighborhood. The struggle to pay the bills, the stress of not knowing how you will fix the car if it breaks down, That's what causes the anxiety and despair for so many. And it pushes too many of us into a crisis that degrades our mental and physical health, that drives some to addiction and self-harm. When a parent is hospitalized, when a job is lost, when the rent can no longer be paid, this is how and why so many Angelenos wind up losing their housing. When life is hard for some Angelenos, it affects all Angelenos. And this is why tomorrow morning, I will start my first day as mayor at the city's emergency operations centers, where my first act as mayor will be to declare a state of emergency on homelessness. A state of emergency on homelessness. My emergency declaration will recognize the severity of our crisis and break new ground to maximize our ability to urgently move people inside and to do so for good. It will create the structure necessary for us to have a true, unified, and citywide strategy to set us on the path to solve homelessness. If we are going to bring Angelenos inside and move our city in a new direction, we must have a single strategy to unite our city and county and engage the state, the federal government, the private sector, and every other stakeholder. And so I call on our city council, our city attorney, and our city controller. I want to continue the work that we already started. We started it during the transition. And we want to have a unified and urgent strategy to solve homelessness. So I call on the County of Los Angeles, with its authority over health, including mental health and substance abuse, to lock arms with me. And we have already started these discussions. Lock arms with me. And I asked the mayors and council members of the 87 other cities in the county to lock arms with me too. Because we know that problems don't stop at our city limits. We have to address the county as a whole. Vice President Harris, Governor Newsom, my colleagues in Congress who are here today, look for me on your caller ID. Because I will be calling. If we come together and focus on solutions rather than jurisdictions, on locking arms rather than pointing fingers, if we just focus on bringing people inside and comprehensively addressing their needs and moving them to permanent housing with a way to pay their bills, we will save lives and we will save our city. And this is my mission as your mayor. Thank you. I love you back. You elected me to lead, and lead I will do, but I am also asking you, Angelenos, to join me in moving our city forward. In addition to asking you to join me in bringing Angelenos inside, I'm also calling on you to lock arms with me to make our neighborhoods, every neighborhood, safe through a strategy that is informed by our communities. Of course, we must stop crimes in progress and hold people accountable. Some neighborhoods have asked for additional officers, but what neighborhoods are asking for and what they need for safety is as diverse as our city is. That's why my administration will launch an Office of Community Safety so that we meet with neighbors, store clerks, dog walkers, teenagers who know what's actually going on behind the statistics. We want to have block-by-block information on how to truly keep each neighborhood safe. Is it more officers, better lighting, cleaner streets, a closed alley that you need? The founder of Homeboy Industries, Father Greg Boyle, Father Boyle is a true hero of Los Angeles, and he famously said, "Nothing stops a bullet like a job." So let me be so bold as to add that we can prevent crime and community violence by addressing the social, the health, and the economic conditions that compromise a safe environment. So let's partner with the people, ask them what works in their neighborhood, and create our public safety policy from the ground up. By helping people pay the bills, by helping people feel safer, we are going to help people breathe easier, and we should literally do that by cleaning up our environment. It's a necessity that we must clean and green the way we power our lives, and that necessity presents a tremendous opportunity to put Angelenos to work in good-paying careers. Achieving 100% clean power, zero-emission buildings, and a zero-emission port will take hard work. And while I put in the work from City Hall, I want to make sure the work is done in our communities so that we are rewarded with paychecks that build community wealth. Let's make sure it is Angelenos who are creating our greener future. A future that's healthier, a future that's cooler, because we're doing our part on climate change and we're planting trees and expanding the green canopy. We have so much opportunity and wealth here in Los Angeles already, and let's make sure we keep it here. Angelenos should have the jobs. So let's compete not against the business community, but with the business community, side by side, to preserve and grow our economic and employment base. That starts with bringing people inside and safer and cleaner neighborhoods with reliable city services. But it also takes a fundamental shift away from no, away from that's not my problem, to how can we work together and get to yes. It starts when we understand when businesses open, when businesses grow, when businesses thrive, they hire people. And putting paychecks in people's hands, that solves a lot of problems. So to the business community, I am ready to partner with you. Angelenos, we need to recreate the spirit that I have seen in Los Angeles after our most trying times. After an earthquake, everyone in the city looks around and asks, what part can they play? What effort can they join? What specifically can I do to help my fellow Angelenos? Well, right now, there is a role for everyone. If you are a Hollywood creative, I call on you to help inspire people to get involved in our city. If you're a tech entrepreneur, I call on you to help me make City Hall run smarter, faster, and with more accountability. If you are retired, I call on you to share your wisdom with our youth. And if you're a community organizer, let's organize our neighborhoods together. And now finally, I call on you to come work for the city. Come work for the city. Have you ever wondered why it takes so long to fix your streets and trim your trees? Did you know that LA City has hundreds of vacancies in the very departments that address community needs? So if you want a good union-paying job, you should literally come and work for the city of Los Angeles. Hundreds of openings. So I call on our city to not just dream of the LA we want, but to participate in making the dream come true. So please join me in this effort. A city where people are housed and tents are gone. A city where people are comfortable walking and shopping in all neighborhoods at all hours. A city where murals replace graffiti. And a city, most important, where we lock arms with each other until we get the job done. That's the reality that we can build in Los Angeles. So let's come together and build it together. Thank you, Los Angeles. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the trust. I am honored. Thank you.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be.
And there you have it. Karen Bass inaugurated as the 43rd mayor of Los Angeles today in a impressive star-studded affair. It was all a little bit delayed. Her speech was interrupted at times by a heckler, which the new mayor laughed off. And it turned out to be a bit longer than we expected. We were told the speech would last about 15 minutes. It turned out to be nearly a half hour, but today history was made. I'm Jory Rand.
And I'm Michelle Fisher. 42 people have served as mayor of Los Angeles over the last 173 years, all of them men, only one of them black. That is until today. Karen Bass, former congresswoman, former Speaker of the California Assembly, took the oath of office today at Microsoft Theater in downtown Los Angeles. If you've been with us, you've watched it all unfold, the history-making moments, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, administering the oath of office.
And you see the two on stage here together afterwards. A significant choice to swear Bass into office, given the Vice President's history as the first ever woman and the first ever black woman to hold that post. There is a lot of work to be done. Los Angeles continues to be mired in a homelessness crisis, a spike in crime, the racism controversy inside City Hall, and of course the high cost of living here in our city.
All very important things. Bass has promised to get to work right away on day one, which is tomorrow for her, December the 12th. The new mayor says she will declare a state of emergency on homelessness in an attempt to get the 15,000 people off of Los Angeles streets. As for today's events, it was a star-studded affair. With that, we saw Stevie Wonder. We also saw Mary Mary. We saw Chloe Bailey. I mean, I think Stevie Wonder was probably right up there on people's lists. We saw everybody bust out their cell phones to get a picture of that. But beyond the performances, just to see history being made is remarkable. I think of it kind of as a New Year, so to speak. You know, on New Year's night, you're celebrating and you're partying, and then on January 1st, you got to get to those New Year's resolutions. So this was that celebration going into the new administration, and then tomorrow she's got a lot of work to start doing.
Yeah, New Era Eve, we can call it. We're on the eve of a new era in the history of Los Angeles. You know, this is an old city. It's got a lot of people here, and to have a woman represent you for the first time, it's surprising it's taken this long. We've seen far less progressive cities go in that direction, both with a woman, a black woman, and it's taken until 2022 for this to happen in Los Angeles. But Karen Bass was the woman to do it. She defeated Rick Caruso in the general election in a much closer race than a lot of people expected. Rick Caruso dumped over $100 million into this race, something that Karen Bass was keen to point out at almost every opportunity. And it wasn't enough money to win this election for Caruso, and to think about what that money could have done for a city that many would call a city in crisis.
And to your point about her now being the first woman to hold the office, second black person, that now means that the 4 largest cities in the United States are run by people of color. So that's New York, Eric Adams, Houston, Sylvester Turner, Los Angeles, of course, Mayor Karen Bass, and then which one am I missing?
Chicago,
Lori Lightfoot in
Lori
Chicago.
Lightfoot, yeah.
Right. So, you know, history being made all across the country, but Los Angeles, where our attention is focused today for this historic moment. Right now, you're taking a look at what happened a bit earlier, about 30 minutes ago, or about 45 minutes ago at this point. That's Vice President Kamala Harris giving Karen Bass the oath of office as she officially steps into her new role as mayor.
And you can see it was a pretty packed house at the Microsoft Theater. The entire LA City Council was sworn in, minus some very significant people. Kevin De Leon, who was not the main actor in that racism controversy. Nuri Martinez, of course, now former City Council president, resigned. Kevin De Leon has chosen not to do that, had taken basically 2 months off on the taxpayer's dime before finally showing back up to work this week, to much consternation from hecklers. And then we saw getting into a physical altercation on Friday with an activist who had gotten in his face, headbutted him a couple times, and De Leon decided to basically take matters into his own hands and looked like tried to shove him out the door, wrestling the two, and punches were thrown. And so that is the atmosphere that Karen Bass is stepping into as she takes over the job day one in City Hall tomorrow.
Yeah. But what she spoke about in her speech was this unity. Linking arms is something she kept mentioning, or locking arms rather, with city council members to get everything done. Also with the 87 other cities in the county to get things done. So unity, a big part of her speech.
And with that, we want to thank you for joining our coverage of the inauguration of Karen Bass. We return you to our regularly scheduled programming on our 24/7 stream.
And we'll have much more on this day as Los Angeles welcomes a new mayor on Eyewitness News starting at 4:30. For all of our hardworking Eyewitness News crews who have been out there helping to bring us this historic event, we want to say thank you, and we appreciate you for joining us as well. We'll see you in about an hour for Eyewitness News.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the State of California. The Constitution of the State of California. And the Charter of the City of Los Angeles. And the Charter of the City of Los Angeles. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties. And I will faithfully discharge the duties. Of the office of mayor. Of the office of mayor. According to my best ability. According to my best ability. Madam Mayor. solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of California,
the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles,
and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of mayor
of the office of mayor
according to my best ability.
according to my best ability.
Madam Mayor. And repeat after me. I, Karen Ruth Bass,
I, Karen Ruth Bass,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of California,
the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles,
and the Charter of the City of Los Angeles,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of mayor
of the office of mayor
according to my best ability.
according to my best ability.
Madam Mayor. And repeat after me. I, Karen Ruth Bass,
I, Karen Ruth Bass,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear